Hello, hello, and welcome back to Space Engineers on the Xbox on the Series X for a continuation of my small ship welder tutorial. Only what I want to do is I want to modify this welder and I want to take it into the realms of a miner. But I also want to show you how you can optimize this miner so that if you're using it to collect ores, you won't also collect stone. And it's fairly simple to do. We can still use our base model of ship, although if you're going to be collecting things with a ship like this, you need to ensure that you're rolling out more thrust than before. So to get on with it, here is our ship. First thing we're going to do is jump into that cockpit for the moment, and we're just going to press the two squares on the Xbox pad, nip across to info, and we're going to name it Red Miner. A unique name will make the grid stand out. But also, if you upload this grid after blueprinting it to mod.io, you're going to not just slap on small grid 3845, you're going to actually have your ship. Anyway, here it is. We need to make a few changes. First of all, we need to take off our welders. So this is going to break the connection in the cockpit to the welders, but don't worry about that. Next thing we're going to need to look at is a way to bring in a couple of drills. And we want these drills at the front, obviously. So we're going to utilize our good friend in the build menu right here, brand new conveyor converter. And because the small grid drills have one connection at the back, these are perfect. Convert down to this. And the reason I'm doing this is just in case in the future we wanted to, say, repurpose this again as a welder, rather than redoing this and just pulling those connectors forwards, we've got a way of doing that. So now we want our tools. Under wheels and weapons, grinder, the welder, and the drill. And if you look on the back of the drill there, you can see that port lines up with that, and that port lines up with that. And that is converting that ship into a miner, very basically. What we need to do, though, is one, this connector here, we need to just nip into the control panel of it and rename it. And we're going to call it connector red M. We know. Then we're going to add some more thrust. Now I've got 6 or so, 5 or so thrusters there even. I could have 6 if I wanted. My suggestion for the front, if you're going to turn any ship like this into a miner, is to throw at least another set of thrusters either side. Like so. So now you're going to have more thrust if the ship tilts down when you're mining. we hop into our cockpit, what we'll do here to begin with is we'll get rid of that. So we'll remove the welder by holding down the direction on the D-pad, pressing X to get rid of it, and then just go into block tools again. Pick up your drills and just select those. And now, with the drill selected, right trigger drills normally, left trigger drills but doesn't collect stone. It used to be that you could double tap them to set them continuously on, but you can't anymore. If you want to do that, you need to basically just go into the main sort of menu of the directions, your toolbar config, and instead of block tools, you just need to make a group and select your drills. We won't bother with that because what we want to do now is we want to optimize this a little bit more. Well, for a start, since we've added new thrusters, we need to go into the control panel, and if you look here, we've got some new thrusters. And also, one of the ways you can do that is this, and just select everything again and remake the group if you can remember the group name, or you can find the name of your group in the list if you haven't got too many components like this, and then you can just scroll down and you'll see where the new thrusters are. If you hold the right bumper down and press A on each one of the thrusters like this, and just check through, make sure you've got them all, then move across using the left stick, go to save, and you've now got all of your thrusters on the D-pad again. And quick save this. So now we've got our drills, we've got our thrusters on. Next thing we want to do is we want to go back to that connector, red M. And all we want to do with this is just make sure that we turn used for parking off and drop its strength down to disabled. I don't really want it kind of slamming to the nearest connector when I connect with it. And used for parking means it won't obey the parking signal because we're going to put it onto the D-pad. So if we hold the direction, we find our connector, and then we go to switch lock. That's now on our D-pad. Right. We have our thrust, we have our cockpit tools connected. What we want to do is optimize this a bit and make it so that our system stops stone from reaching this cargo box. And we can do it like this. Just for the purposes of this particular demonstration, we can pop out a block there. Pop out the block. Let's see, actually, block is best. Yeah, that'll do. 2 in front of that thruster. Then we go to our small conveyor. So we want our small conveyors, and we'll match a T-junction into this. And if you look at these new ones, they've got T written on them. There's the junction. So all we need to do now with that one is flip it. And you'll know it's connected properly because when you drop it in, the lights on that side will go green. And again, green lights. So now we've got our T-junction. What are we going to do with it? Well, on the same menu, we're going to bring in a small conveyor again. And we're going to look through the D-pad to the sorter. And we want the arrow facing towards us. Like so. And like so. Then we want to pop into our little selector, and we want an ejector on either side. Like so. And we hop into the cockpit, go into our control panel, and we need to set up a couple of things. One, we want to control our sorter so that it's not hurling stone all the time. We also need to set up our sorters so that it throws the stone out. So let's look at our ejectors first. You'll see that you can set them to throw out. So just set both of those ejectors to throw out. Then we go to our sorters, and you'll find the sorter here. Look. Now we can group these straight away. Just pop them into a group and call them eject. So you know what they're doing. Stone. So, save it off. And we'll come back to that in a minute. So the first sorter, and you can't do these all as a group, you've got to do them individually. Set to drain all, and then change the filter mode to whitelist. Pull down on the left stick, and then tap down on the D-pad until you reach stone. Find stone here at the bottom. Press A on it, then pull down on the left stick again until it reaches add. Click add. Now that will allow stone to pass through that system into the ejector and get popped out. We want to do the same on this side. Drain all. Whitelist. And you don't need to pull the stick too far and the D-pad for the stone. So that's our sorters and everything. While we're here, if you hold down the left stick, tap B, you'll open a new page of your D-pad. Push up on the D-pad and you'll see eject stone is there. So we just want to toggle this block on and off really. And you'll see that the lights go from green to red. Good stuff. Again. So we've got our drills and we should have our conveyor sorters set up. So just check again. Make sure they're on drain all, whitelisted stone. Make sure your ejectors are on throw out. And you should be ready to go. We've got enough thrust here just to go flying over to this bit of a mountain. The reason we want a lot of thrust on the front of the ship is that it's going to take a bit of weight when you're mining ore. A lot of people convert their drop pods into a miner. I'm not so sure about that because I like to use the components and parts of the drop pod to help me find all the things I need to make my own. And here we are. That's our little mining site of stone. If we're collecting stone, All well and good. Quick look. There. Entry. Just pop it open. Press the right stick. You'll see that our large cargo container has stone in it, but the ejectors are working. If we go here, you'll see it's dropping stone out of the side. This will help you collect your precious ore rather than collecting all the stone. And then all you'll need to do, sure, no stone in. You can watch your large cargo container emptying as your ejectors are busy throwing stone everywhere. And remember, if you do want your stone, all you need to do is just hold down the left stick, tap B, push up on the D-pad on this build, and you'll turn the sorter off. Now, when we go back to this here, the reason that I wanted 6 thrusters at least either side so your weight started to climb on your hood. You can hide empty, which will take you straight to your stone. Yeah, we go up to 6,000. And the same with these drills as with your hand drill. If you use the left trigger, you'll actually carve rather than get it stoned and collecting it. So you can use a miner like this to dig out large sections of an asteroid for an asteroid base or something like that. Stone now. And you can see the ship started to be just a little bit unwieldy because it's heavier. It's taking itself a lot longer to move forward, but you don't really want massive amounts of forward thrust with a ship like this. And also, if you look, we've only got about 18 minutes of flight time. All things to bear in mind when you're messing around with this kind of thing. And if you've got a refinery on your base like I have, you can make a little modification to it. If we bring the ship back like this, and when you're using a ship like this that's got a rear mounted connector, well, best way to do this would be to build some conveyors on top of this. If you want to make them all match and be all nice with the colour, you can bring up your colour picker. Then you can find the yellow, find the texture, just hit the left trigger and you'll copy it. And then what we want is our conveyor junction, and then switch from that to our brand new reinforced conveyor tubes. And we just want to go up a couple, then drop, curved in, then another couple of straights, and finally, to cap it all off, we want a connector. You can go into this connector. I always suggest going into connectors like this, just rename it something like connector HQ, and you don't want it used for parking. And again, you can turn the strength off on that. And now, bit of manoeuvring. You'll notice this ship is a bit sluggish when it comes to turning around. It's got a lot of weight at the moment. Slightly. Aim the crosshair at this, and then flip the ship right the way around, and then slowly pull back. Just the height. And you'll see with the strength it doesn't automatically slam the ship onto the connector. Then just hit right on the D-pad, you're locked in, and you can hear your refinery chugging away. And it'll very quickly pull all the stone off that ship onto your base, turn it into useful stuff. There you go. That's how to do it. And this will also charge off the base, so you can quite easily just hop on, turn off your thrusters. Just remember to turn them back on. You could also build a landing platform so that if there was a power failure and that everything dropped, that ship wouldn't smash into the ground. There it is, though. That is how to convert your welding ship into a mining ship, and how to optimize it so that it hurls stone out, because when you're mining ores, the last thing you want to be doing is collecting stone at the same time. And there you go. One last thing you can do is you can blueprint that ship, and if you look in my channel, you'll see that I've got extensive tutorials on how to blueprint things. So I won't bother going over that again, because this is reaching about the 25-minute mark. So that's about all I have time for today. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes. It helps the channel and me out. There's a lot more to come. We are going to find out more and more about grid AI as it comes. And when that comes out, expect a fair few videos and lots of tutorials on the various things like I did with the custom turret controller. It all sounds very, very exciting. Building your own AI friends and enemies for space engineers, the dream that many, many, many of us have had. Anyway, Take care, stay safe, have fun, enjoy the game. Happy engineering. Bye for now.